Hi, my name is Stacy, and if you're watching this, you probably either found out you have prostate cancer or you know someone who does have it. The reason I decided to make this video is that I did find out that I have prostate cancer. I did a lot of research and checked out a lot of YouTube videos, and some were very informative. One in particular was Mark's prostate cancer experience. And I felt that this was a really good way to learn more about what's going on and to make an informed decision. So, that being said, I felt that it would be a good idea to do something similar to hopefully help anyone who's going through what the rest of us have gone through. So, to set the stage, I guess, in about April of this year, I went for a regular checkup with my doctor. He did a blood test and called me back a week later and said that my PSA level was a little bit high. If you don't know what PSA is, it's, I believe, called prostate specific antigens. It's a chemical, I guess, that your prostate gives off. It can be, but is not always an indication of cancer. It could be infections. There's a few different things that can cause that. So it's just kind of like an early warning system that makes them want to check you out a little bit closer. So we did a couple more blood tests, and my PSA level went down a wee little bit, but it was still a little bit high. At the time, I think it was like 3.1, and then it went to 3.8, I think. So my doctor referred me to a urologist, a specialist, who did a digital rectal exam. And as anybody who's ever had one knows, it's not fun, but if someone's sticking your finger where the sun don't shine, yeah, it's not fun. But it was a necessary evil, so he checked me out, and he said that he found no lumps, but one side of the prostate felt a little bit rubbery, a little bit softer than the other side. So he sent me for another one or two PSA tests as well, and it grew a little bit. It was like 4.1, I think, something like that. He did send me for an MRI as well. They do everything they can to avoid a biopsy if possible because it's so invasive, and there can be side effects, complications possibly. But I felt that I wanted to take the risk. I told the doctor that I lost a sister to cancer, obviously not prostate cancer, but it grew very quickly. And I know that catching any type of cancer, slow growing or fast growing, the earlier you catch it, the better. So he agreed and sent me for a biopsy. Basically what a biopsy does of the prostate, they give you an injection to kind of freeze the area, like a local anesthetic. They stick a camera, I guess it would be, with a little metal cage type thing, where the sun don't shine. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. It's not pleasant, but it's bearable. It's a necessary evil. So they put the camera with the sample device in, and they took 6 cores or samples of each side of the prostate. Now, each time they would take a sample, you would hear a loud metal snap. They try to calm you down, and they prepare you for each one because they don't want you to jump. It can screw things up, and yeah, it's not good if you jump. So they calm you down and they warn you. I went home that day with instructions to not lift anything, to just take it easy for 2 or 3 days. The next week I got a call back from my urologist, and he proceeded to tell me that officially I have prostate cancer. Early stages, they're telling me that it's definitely treatable. They feel that it is not at the point where it's going to grow outside the prostate within like 6 months or a year. But I do know that doctors are not perfect. They do make mistakes sometimes, obviously. So I felt that I didn't want to take the chance. So yeah, so that's what we went with. They told me that, I don't know if you've heard of the Gleason score, but I don't know all the details, but it's a score that's compiled, figured out, to kind of give a ballpark idea of how fast growing your cancer is and how important it is to have it treated early. 6 is the best that you can get, and then there's 7, 8, 9, depending on how aggressive it is and fast growing. They told me that normally a Gleason score of 6 would mean they would do what's called watch and wait, which means every few months they give you another PSA test, and they monitor it to make sure that it's not growing, and in some cases it's many years and there's no change. But in my instance, because they found 7 out of the 12 cores that they took, or samples, came back positive. So that means it's a larger area that we're dealing with. So that changes things a bit. It means that it needs to be treated. So we came to my options, which were basically radiation or surgery, which is called a radical prostatectomy. I did lots of research online, lots of research on YouTube. Like I said, Mark's Prostate Experience, great, informative. He took us through the entire process. I don't know how involved mine will be compared to his, but if I can help even one person to make an informed decision, then that's great. Then this is all worthwhile. It is about 4 days right now before my surgery. I went through several blood tests, chest x-rays. I did my pre-op this past Wednesday. It's Sunday right now. Technically the pre-op is supposed to be usually the day before, but they had to reschedule my prostate surgery because of an emergency patient. So I'm wearing this little wristband here, and what that is they take blood, and now I guess they have to make sure they match for surgery. They have to match it up to the proper blood type and all that stuff, and they tell me that if it comes off before surgery or it gets wet and they can't read it, then they have to take more blood and reband you, and it can possibly cause you to need to reschedule your surgery. So that put a little bit of pressure on me there. So I'm being extra careful with this band. So basically, I'm going to be off for, the doctor said 5 weeks to 8 weeks You can't lift anything over 10 pounds. You can't drive for a couple of weeks. I have a fairly physical job, so I'm really pushing to not be back for probably the maximum, which is like 8 weeks. So I guess getting back to my options, I guess the reasons why I chose prostatectomy versus radiation. Basically, what I've been told is radiation softens your prostate, kind of makes it almost like mush. If you need surgery after, it makes it very difficult because it's hard for them to remove a prostate that's been irradiated by radiation. The side effects are similar in both. It can cause incontinence. It can also cause sexual function issues. Both of them can do this. Surgery is a little more short-term. Some of these side effects can stick with you longer if you're doing radiation. My options for radiation basically were just fixed beam radiation. There was one other option that possibly could have been, which is called brachytherapy, where they put small seeds that are irradiated in your prostate and leave it there. I was told that that's not an option for me because my prostate is too small. In the United States, there's a lot more options. I think there's cryotherapy. There's a few different options you have, but it looks like in Canada there's basically the two: remove it or fixed beam radiation. And I felt my best chance of getting rid of this cancer is to just have the prostate removed. So that's what we're going with. I'm nervous, obviously. It's a serious procedure, but it's necessary for me to live a long life, hopefully. What makes me nervous is that when they remove the prostate, they also do a biopsy of the lymph nodes in the surrounding area to make sure that the cancer has not spread. Because if it has that, then that's pretty serious. And I won't feel at rest, comfortable until I get the results back after the prostatectomy and they tell me that it hasn't spread for sure 100%. Then I'll feel much more at ease. I'm going to continue to do these videos. Don't know how often. I know Mark from Mark's prostate surgery experience, he was filming like an hour or two after his surgery. I don't know if I'm that dedicated. I don't know if I'm going to be that up to doing that. But I do want to keep people informed of my progress as it goes. So I will probably do another quick one Wednesday night, just the day before my surgery. Maybe a quick one on Thursday before I go in, and then we'll see from there. So take care, and I hope you get something out of this.